it's Jo here, Belushi Stitches on Flosstube and also over on Instagram. Today thought I'd put up a little video of me doing some stitching. Some of this has got me kind of talking or commenting on what I'm doing. Some of it is just me not talking, so you can hear the thread coming through. This is not a proper stitch with me, so please don't judge me against other proper stitch with me's. There's bits that I'm explaining all the way through, but you can probably hear a bit of traffic in the background, or ocean waves, as I like to think. And you can and there's a bit of wobble because of the stand that I'm using, which I do kind of explain throughout the video. This isn't a proper stitch with me because I would do it differently if it was a proper one. But I would just, if you did like seeing any of this, please do let me know. And if the resounding comments all say this was rubbish, please don't do this again, it's too wobbly, then I won't do it again. So I'm open to feedback. I'm open to feedback. But yeah, I hope there's something in here for somebody. And if not, then yeah, then this will be the only one that I do. I hope you're all well, and speak to you soon. Bye. Hello everybody. So I thought I would do a really quick, it's not a proper stitch with me, it's just a little clip of me stitching, and I know it's wobbling at the moment, I'm really sorry. Because a few people have asked me how I managed to kind of stitch my 500 stitches per day, and some of it is about I stitch two-handed, some of it is I just stitch quite quickly, some of it is that I do it before I start work, I get up early purposefully to stitch, lots of different things, but I thought I would just show you how I stitch. So it's not my camera that's wobbling, it's actually the Siesta Stitch Master, and I've got my feet on it as well to try and help it, so it's not even the base that's wobbling. So that's me going left, right with my feet. It's just the way that it's built. Probably my fault, I suspect. So I'm going to try and steady it with my hands in a second, but I just thought I'd show you how I stitch. This is going to be normal time, and I'm not going to speed it up or anything, and I'm probably not going to talk through it. I'm not going to put any music on. If you can hear traffic in the background, that is my 40-mile-per-hour road. Someone I worked with once said it sounded like waves in the background during one of our Zoom calls at work, so I thought that was nice. So now I just pretend I live next to the ocean instead of a 40-mile-per-hour busy road. Anyway, so I'm stitching this colour, and I'm yeah, my fingers are going to look massive in this. I need to stitch 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got Pattern Keeper with my pattern off to the side, so I'm going to be doing that. But yeah, I just thought I would stitch and just see how we get on, see if it works. If it's something that we can put in, then great. If it's not something that's any good, I wanted to do a really close-up bit as well, and then I can pull back in a second. So my right hand is my dominant hand, that is underneath, and my left hand is my non-dominant hand, which I've trained to stitch on top. Oh, it's slightly different for me because I am stitching off to the side a little bit, but you're getting the gist, and that's all that matters. Normally I'd turn the hoop over to finish my thread, but actually what I tend to do now is I tend to just finish the stitches, and then I tend to just actually I'm just going to work out where I'm going. Actually, I might go back up to the top. Yeah, I'm going to tie off here. So instead I actually just put my needle through somewhere like this, but to the top right. See if you can see it slightly. Zoom out a bit. Yeah, I'll just leave it there for now. So now I'm going to stitch, mark those off. Where am I? Here. I'm carrying on the red. All this is going to be filled in red across here. So I'm just going to get a thread. So I've got my Annie's Keepers with my threads on them. Got one that's not tied up in a knot, which is this one. Looks, yeah. So just so you know, this is 902. So you can colour match that to your 902 if you've got something 902. It looks a little bit lighter on my camera, I suppose. But yeah, just going to take the one strand. Try not to do it through the camera because I can't see it properly. There we go. And so I've got one long end, where is it, with the loop there. I've got the two tail ends here together. I thread my needle, excuse the plaster, I thread my needle by bending it over, that's what she said, bending over the end of the tail like this, and I turn the needle so that that's the thickest. I'm not going to be able to see that, are you really, I suppose? That's the eye. Let's do that and try and focus the camera again. No, it doesn't like it, does it? What about that? No. So not the eye up, but sideways. So it's the thinnest part. So not the eye, but the thinnest side. Anyway, I do that. And then I just put it together between my fingers. And then sometimes it doesn't work. And I don't know if you can see. You can't see that because it's such a terrible, terrible, terrible phone camera. I'm going to have to get my proper camera out. I do it. I'm going to blame the fact that I'm looking at it through the camera, but I'm actually not. I'm actually off to the side of the camera. It's just me being incompetent today. No, maybe I've ruined the thread. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going in here. You'll have to excuse as well my terrible, terrible hand. Where am I? I'm over here. Perfect. I'm going to pull back a bit, so I start at the front with a loop start, and I will pull the camera back so you can see my hand movement. Anyway, I'm going to zoom out. You're not going to be able to see my the stitching really clear, but I want you to see my hand movement because everyone does it differently. So a lot of people I've seen, they go in with their middle finger and they sort of do something with this finger. That feels really uncomfortable to me. I've got no control. I've trained myself to use my index finger. So I probably do it all in one go, which I hadn't really noticed. So I'm just going to sit here and stitch. And I'm going to try and keep it still. It's going to wobble a bit because it's the nature of the stand, unfortunately. Oh yeah, so when I pull up here, I will use this ring finger, almost like I'm crocheting, and I will pull it so that that is what pulls the thread tight. When I go down, I do the same thing. Yeah, I just realised what I do. I do the same thing on here. I pull it with my ring finger. And then sometimes what I do is, see there's these ones where no, you can't see. In here, where I've stitched it, but there's a gap. I don't like that, so I try and pull the bottom leg down. That normally fixes it, really. It's banging against the light now, sorry. 1, 4. So I'm stitching 1 and then 4. Still don't like that gap, so what I'll do is I'll go in and I will do a little horizontal stitch. There's the gap. It's not you can barely even see it. You won't be able to see it when the whole thing's done and up on the wall, that's for sure. When I'm pausing, I'm just looking at my pattern to see what I need to do next. Well, I've also seen people do two movements with their top hand. So they'll kind of get it ready, and then how do they do it? And then they'll push it again. So they'll kind of get it ready, and then they'll push it. So they're using two kind of motions, whereas mine is just literally being handled from one to the next. See, now I've stitched the tail in. There you go. So I just do a lot of tugging, and actually that's what broke my favourite needle. I'd had that needle for about 4 years, and it broke because I should have unstitched it, done it again, but I didn't. It was very silly. Hi everybody, I'm working on my Heaven and Earth design and I thought I would pop a camera on. I'm not going to talk through this bit, I think. I am going to sneeze though. Hold please. Okay, sneeze done. Yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit of stitching in this little area because it's quite a good section to show you, I think. Okay, so where am I? That's wrong from the start. If you see me pausing, not pausing, but just not doing anything, I'm marking off the stitches on my Pattern Keeper tablet, which has got Pattern Keeper on it. I cannot talk, think and stitch at the same time. I know that this is wobbling around slightly. It's not the camera, it's the actual stand. It's I'm using a nerd hoop resting on a Siesta Stitch Master, and I've got the Siesta Stitch Master at full extension, and it does wobble. I've got it all tightened up, but it just wobbles. It doesn't really bother me on a daily basis, but I appreciate that is not probably very helpful for you all. So when I'm stitching, I'm trying to keep my top hand on it, and then when I pull through, I'm trying to keep my, well, actually there's nothing I can do really with my hand underneath. It's not ideal, but it is what I have. I do have a Larry stand. I find that is more wobbly, in fact. I have quite wobbly carpets, and it just doesn't stand on it, and I've got nothing here that I can put it under. And my sofa leg downstairs, when I have tried it, is just not a good leg. I think I need to invest in some weights if I'm going to use the Larry stand. So when I used my seat stand, whatever, the hoop, I used to stitch with a hoop. Well, I still stitch with a hoop, but I stitched with a hoop, and I used a different frame. It was a seat stand, so you'd have a little paddle that you'd put under your leg. And also when I stitch in a hoop, I always turn the piece straight over and tie off my end, and that's what I used to do in this piece as well when I was right at the beginning of it. But now there is so much stitched fabric, because I'm quite far along in the piece, well obviously last page, but quite far along in the piece now, and it is difficult and heavy to turn over every time, balance it on stuff. The way that I've rolled the fabric is a bit precarious. Oh, I just stitched in the tail. I'm just going to unstitch. See? Stitched in the tail. Oh. There we go. So what I'm actually doing instead is I'm just like the equivalent of a waist knot, but I'm not really planning on stitching over it. I'm putting the tail to one side, and then when I get to, done it again, stitched in the tail. There we go. Sorry, I know the camera's focusing on my hands, my massive hands. And then when I get to sort of, I don't know, 5 or 6, then I turn the piece over and I put in all the tails, and you'll see there, instead of going all the way across that line again, I just finished this little bit of the next couple of rows. So yeah, I've tucked the tail, and I've stitched the tail. I've just drawn it through. In fact, I can show you. No, I can't show you. There we go. So yeah, that worked out well. So I can mark those bits off my pattern now. Yeah, and basically the next stitch starts here, and there's a big blob of block stitching here like this, but double the size, and then a bit more kind of spaced out bit below. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on. There is still 4,000 stitches of this colour in this whole section, so there's plenty to do. Okay.